Good morning, pottery students. I am so sad we didn't get to meet in person today, but I hope we do soon. I am coming to you live from my potter's wheel, and because I hate emailing and texting, mostly because I can't spell, I've decided to make you a how-to video for today. Actually, I want to introduce you to my coworker. Actually, I think this will be good because centering is by far the hardest thing that you're going to learn in this class. And you may have to work on it a little bit when I'm not around. And if that's the case, let me turn this down. It'll be nice to have something to reference. Okay, I have to have music to throw. There will be music in my classroom. It will be light and it will be moody. Okay. So, this is my ball of clay. And fair warning, you will get dirty in this class. If that is a problem, you should either A, bring a change of clothes, B, purchase an apron, or C, take up needle point because it's dirt, it's clay, we're gonna get dirty. It's my favorite part, I'm not gonna lie. So, we're gonna slam this down in the middle. And very, very important here. You are the boss of the clay. Do not let the clay be the boss of you. What I mean is your hands aren't going to move with the clay. You make the clay move to your hands. Lock your elbows. Wet your hands in the bucket of water over here. Helps with the wheels on. And start your clay at a medium spin. Take your foot off the pedal. You don't want to lean forward and speed up your wheel. It's a rookie mistake. So, wet hands, wet clay. I'm very cautious about not putting a ton of water on my clay. Now, most amateurs will go like this, and you're going to see your hands moving with the clay. This is where you have to get strong. I am a mother of 3 kids. I have 22 employees. I have 3 horses and I have clay. And if there's one thing I've learned about all these things, it's all about knowing when to be firm and when to be gentle with them. So, all right, I am applying pressure, and everything you do with clay will be slow and steady. Now, what we're doing right now is we are coning the clay up, and then we are using the flat part of our hand to push it back down. And as we do, we are going to smooth it all the way to the bottom, okay? I'm going to speed this up a little more. Now my whole hand is gauging here and it's pushing down, and if I feel areas where there's lumps, I'm pushing in slightly harder in those areas than I am in the areas. Everything has to be very consistent. Now I'm squeezing and pulling up. And then back down. Notice I'm only putting a little bit of water on. I just want enough to coat my piece. I know on TV you see people in there, tons of water, and you see it running down a girl's arm in a American Express commercial, and I think that is the stupidest thing in the world because, quite frankly, we have to clean up that mess. And when I say we, I mean you, because I am the mother of 3, but I will not be your mother, so therefore I am not cleaning up your messes, and I expect you to too. Anyways, all right, so we are moving clay up and down. Now, I'm going to make this look real easy for you, but trust me when I say, as a new potter, this will be single-handedly the most frustrating part of my class. And we actually won't get to this until somewhere in the middle. We're going to start with hand and slab molding that we'll do with rolling pins and all. So this piece is 1 3/4 of a pound. This is my favorite size for a really big coffee mug. If you like smaller mugs, you can use a smaller amount. I want you guys focused on using 1 to 1.5 pounds to get started, okay? It's going to be very important that you measure your clay. We will measure every piece we throw on the wheel for consistency purposes. So now this is looking pretty centered. If you put your hand like this and you see no movement, that means you're centered, okay? So you're going to wet it. We're going to use the balls of our thumb and we're going to place them directly in the middle, and we are just going to put an indentation there. Boop. Then we're going to fill that indentation with water. Now we are going to push down all the way until we get too close to the bottom, because we're making a mug, not a cylinder, so we have to leave a foot in there, okay? This is important. 2 hands, thumbs in the middle, push straight down so that we create an opening. Muddy hands on my cell phone here, guys. I want to show you the top. Can't see what I'm showing you. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't. I don't know. Use your imagination. Okay. Now, slow and steady. We do not want to be. This is opening, and we are just going to pull with 2 fingers, but consistently here. We are going to pull this out just a little bit because we're making a mug, so we don't want it to be real wide, okay? And as I pull, I'm going to slightly move up. So you don't want to use your fingertips. We are using flat surfaces here, okay? And then we're going to come in here and we're going to do what's called compressing the bottom. And essentially we are using our sponge to flatten out and compress those clay particles and to make a nice, pretty smooth bottom. I'm not going to lie, in the beginning some of those bottoms are going to be a little wonky. Probably going to be a few things that are going to be a little wonky. Believe it or not, this is one of those practice things. All right, a little bit of water, because if the clay is dry, it'll tear. Real important that you keep your clay wet. Now, as you've seen earlier, I was using my fingers. I've switched to sponges. You can do either one. I'm not going to tell you that there's one right way to do it. And if my way is not working for you, by all means, watch some YouTube videos and try some of these other methods. You know, I am essentially almost a self-taught potter. I took some classes in the beginning, but they didn't give me the guidance that I wanted, so I spent a lot of time researching and just practicing and seeing what worked for me and being somewhat self-taught at that point. I have been doing pottery for 12 years, and it was rough in the beginning, guys. It was a little bit, I just hold myself to a standard that I couldn't produce in the beginning, and I was frustrated. But the wheel is my favorite. Now, we are making a cylinder here. I don't want to get sidetracked. We're making a cylinder here. And with a cylinder, you have to pull straight up. It's very, very important that you apply slightly more pressure on the outside hand. If you apply that pressure on the inside hand, it's going to make a bowl. But we need a cylinder. We need it to be tall. And it's really kind of important that you perfect the cylinder first, okay? So, because the bowl kind of happens naturally, especially when you're a beginner. So, think structurally. If you built a house and it was heavy up here and small down here, it would collapse. You really have to keep everything consistent. And if anything, it has to be slightly thicker at the bottom than it is at the top. And although hopefully the goal is to make it the same, in the beginning process, we need less on the top and more on the bottom, and then to keep working that bottom up where it's structurally strong, okay? So we're gonna make some more passes here, and the goal is to move clay, but to move it slowly. This is looking pretty good. Now, once you're structurally at the right height and the right consistency, let me try to pick you up again, see if I can show you. Now you can give it shape if you want to. I like mugs with little fat bellies. Fat bellies make the world go around, or fat bottom girls make the world go around, or so I've been told in a song. You know, maybe it doesn't look good on me, but it definitely looks good on a pot. So you can come in here and apply a little outward pressure gently, and we can change the whole shape of this mug. You can build a little foot, not build a little foot. This is kind of one of my signature things. I put these little feet on my mugs. All right, reinforce my lip. If it's uneven, we'd cut it off and reinforce it again. And compress it. And just make sure the shape is what we want. All right, we're gonna turn it off, add a little water to the bottom. Oops. This is called a wire cutter. Rookie mistake here. Keep your fingers at the bottom of the wheel, or else you will cut the bottom out of your pot. And I'm not gonna lie, I still do that sometimes, especially when my bottoms are real thin, and in my pieces they tend to be.